so the student council's room is right by the front office.
Well, that's not too bad then.
Nope, not at all.
Ruby says as we open the doors to the same stairway she showed me back on Friday. Though for Twan's telly, it seems to be abandoned. As we get to the bottom of the stairs, Ruby does a random spin, singing some Japanese song to herself. As she spins around, I come to get a good look at her entire body. Seeing Ruby like this, and up close, was enough to get me a little flustered. I still don't understand how she gets away with looking like that. In an effort not to let her catch me looking, I just laugh to myself at her antics.
I'm in such a good mood today.
Oh yeah? What happened?
Well, he joined the club and allowed us to continue on doing something that we love. At least for another year, hopefully.
I plan to stick around. Ruby smiles warmly at me.
That's good to hear. I get that Kayla, Shiro, and myself aren't exactly the most desirable type.
Desirable? What is she talking about? I don't take your meaning.
Well, Kayla and I have something of a reputation.
Oh?
Yeah, I mean, just mostly based on how we look. Rather than creeps, most people tend to stay away from us. And by now you've probably heard all the crap about Shiro.
Well, I guess I've heard most of it. Well, if I wanted to ask her, now would be a good time. Say, Ruby. There's no truth to any of that stuff, is there? About Shiro?
Well...
Ruby pauses for a moment, mulling over what she wants to say next. She then takes a look back up the stairwell to make sure we're actually alone.
Okay, so yes and no.
That's not very helpful.
So here's the full story. Last year, Shiro had a crush on some normie girl whose name I didn't even care to remember. As he was crushing on her, he did write a few poems here and there about her, but Shiro does a lot of poetry writing about his feelings and emotions. He's not a half-bad poet.
I didn't take Shiro for the writing type.
Yeah, he doesn't really mention it to people, especially after what happened. Anyways, he did write a few wholesome poems about her, and he did show them to me for just advice. I don't think he ever intended to show his crush what he wrote, but I thought it was cute. I don't remember there being anything deviant.
So then, how did the school see it then? And who wrote that poem? Ruby lets out a sigh.
No one knows. I think what happened is Kai broke into Shiro's binder and found one of his poems. Then, somehow, he copied Shiro's handwriting and framed him for writing a very sexual poem. He even managed to forge his signature. I don't know how he managed that.
Wow. I lean back against the wall and process what Ruby just told me. So Shiro lied to me. He seemed to deny having anything to do with it when I asked him about it last week.
So yeah, Shiro's been trying to clear his name since then, but nobody really believes him. As much as Kayla and I try to help, there's not a whole lot we can do. Nobody really listens to us either when we try to defend him. Then again, most people don't listen to us. They just see Kayla and I as these social freaks. Makes most of the boys uncomfortable when we get near them, especially...
Well, I mean, are they wrong? I quickly shake the thought out of my head. I shouldn't be thinking like that. Kayla and Ruby have been pretty straight with me so far.
But I stopped caring what people thought about me a long time ago. I am who I am,
Ruby says, gesturing to herself.
People don't like it, they can step on a Lego.
I laugh at Ruby's retort. Yeah, I'm with you there. People are just so judgmental nowadays. Like, on one hand, so many people preach that we need to be accepting of others, except when it's something that they don't like.
Well, that's what we get for living in society.
Ruby and I paused for a second to process what she just said, and then burst out laughing about it.
I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from.
You're good, don't worry. We take the next few seconds to compose ourselves.
But yeah, that's that. Why'd you want to know? You're not having second thoughts about all this, are you?
She says, slightly fidgeting. No, I just wanted your perspective on what happened, that's all. Ruby breathes a sigh of relief.
Well, that's good to know. I've known Shiro since middle school, even though we didn't really get to know each other until last year. He's a sweet guy. He always means well. It's just, he tends to get ahead of himself and lose sight of the situation.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I appreciate you being there for him, Michael. You're his first real friend since us.
I think to myself if friend is really the right term to use to describe my relationship with Shiro. I mean, I don't think we're there quite yet, but I do need to save some face here. Yeah, I'm glad I could be there for him. Ruby smiles joyfully at me.
That's good. Well, let's get those drinks. Caleb will probably complain she was dying of thirst if we get sidetracked again.
Yeah, let's get back to it. Ruby and I open the doors and step out of the stairwell. It wasn't long before Ruby and I made our way back from the student council's office to pick up the water. We ended up taking the elevator back up, which was my first time ever using it, though I can't say it was anything too special. We got back to the room to deliver the water and resumed watching the episode. Honestly, we all had a great time, cracking jokes in between some of the cheesy one-liners, pointing out the little details foreshadowing later events in the series. I honestly had a good time. Eventually, the episode comes to an end and we begin cleaning up. During our cleanup, Shiro walks over to me, though I already know what he wants.
Hey, Michael.
What's up, Shiro?
I just wanted to ask, are we cool to hang out at your place later today?
Yeah, sure. My mom said there's nothing left to unpack and she's cool with having you over.
Awesome. Are we walking back or taking the train?
We'll walk. It's not too long of a walk and it's a nice day.
Good to know.
After we finish cleaning up and packing your things, Shiro and I wave goodbye to Kayla and Ruby as we head out. Shiro and I step outside into the cool autumn breeze. After spending all day sitting in classrooms, it feels nice to step back out into the real world. See, I told you it was nice out.
Well, you'd almost never know it after being in there for 8 hours a day.
You got a point there. We begin making our way to the front gate, our gateway back to freedom. We probably get about halfway there before it looks like a light bulb goes on in Shiro's head.
Oh hey, did you ever see the big oak tree we have on campus?
I didn't even know we had one. No, I didn't. I guess I've missed it.
Well, we're probably going to walk right by it on the way to your place. It's pretty cool. I'll point it out when I see it.
Good to know.
It's really impressive. It's probably the biggest oak tree we have in the entire state, maybe the entire country.
That is a pretty big thing to claim. I remember seeing some pretty massive trees back where I grew up, but I don't think any of them were oak trees. We resume walking in silence and make a right out the gate towards my house.
Yep, I'll definitely be able to point it out.
We walk for a few minutes before Shiro points it out to me.
There it is!
Oh, ah. We both poke our faces in between the gate for a better look. That's the most gorgeous looking tree I've ever seen. Shiro definitely wasn't kidding.
See, I wasn't exaggerating.
Sorry I ever doubted you.
Yup, the biggest oak tree in the state for sure. It's older than the school.
Did you guys ever name it?
Nah, we just call it the oak tree or old oak tree, nothing really clever. I actually spent a lot of time over there on my freshman year. It was one of my favorite hangout spots until I got to really know Kayla and Ruby.
Well, that's pretty nice. I'm just about to look away when I take another look at the tree. Speaking of hanging out, I spot what looks like a person sitting against the tree trunk. They have something in their hands, but we're too far for me to make it out. Well, looks like someone is using your old hangout spot, Shiro.
Huh? Where?
Right under the tree.
Oh, I see it now.
Shiro pauses for a moment.
Funny, that kinda looks like Sam.
What? No way! I take another look at the tree. Yeah, I think he's right. Yeah, that looks like her.
Well, you wanna stop by and say hello?
That is a tempting offer, but I don't really know how to approach her yet. Not today.
Come on, she's completely alone by the looks of it. You guys aren't in class. What do you have to lose?
Shiro lightly punches my arm, trying to egg me on. I try to change the subject. I mean, don't you want to hang out at my place?
I do, but I'm not against a slight detour.
Well, it probably wouldn't turn into a detour. There'll be another time for me to get to know her. Let's go.
If you insist.
We resume our walk towards my house.
It's odd, though.
What is?
Sam hanging out after school hours. Usually she just heads straight home like the rest of us. Last year my last class was right across from her and she would be booking it to get out of here.
He says with a slight chuckle.
I wonder what changed.
Maybe she discovered your old hangout spot.
Nah, everyone knows about it by their first week here. It's not exactly easy to miss, you know.
Well, true. I don't know what to tell you then.
Well, hey, if it means anything, I'll help you get close. I'll help you get close to her. I mean it.
I don't know if I really need help with something like this. Besides, it's not like Shiro has a spectacular reputation with girls. Though, in fairness, I know he's trying to be helpful, and he did say he's never really talked to her either. I also really don't want to be a dick since I am taking him to my house right now. I appreciate the offer, Shiro. I'll let you know if I need your help.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad you think I can contribute in some small way.
Shiro smiles at me, and I return one myself, even though it's a little forced. Still, he doesn't seem to notice it. We continue our walk, talking about the episode we just watched and future things the club plans to do this year. Mom, I'm home. I brought Shiro.
I'll be out in a second.
She shouts from the kitchen. You can come in.
Thank you, good sir.
Shiro steps into my house and takes a good look around.
Nice place, Michael. Your house is as good as it looks in here than on the outside.
Glad you think so. It's not as big as my old house back at Gold Lake, but I think it's more than enough room for 2 people. I say as we walk over and take a seat on the couch.
I don't think I ever asked, but what brought you all the way here? I mean, Gold Lake is a good couple 100 miles from here.
I don't exactly feel like diving into the whole history between my parents and reliving all the pain that's caused, so I gave Shiro a brief answer. My mom and I are starting over. Pardon me. I give Shiro a serious look.
Got ya.
Shiro seems to have gotten the hint not to press further on the subject.
Well, hey, I hope you've enjoyed it here so far. I mean, the big city and suburban lifestyle must be a bit of a change of pace for you.
I can't say it's been all that jarring, really. Though I haven't really gotten out and about in the city yet, aside from our visit to that one place on Friday.
Oh, there's plenty of fun things to do out here. I have lived here my whole life, and there's always something new every year here.
That sounds pretty nice. After those words leave my mouth, my mom steps out from the kitchen.
Would you boys be interested in some cookies?
She says with a platter full of chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, sure. Shiro, on the other hand, doesn't say anything. Instead, his jaw is hanging half open, almost seeming entranced. It almost seems like he's off in his own little world. What's with him? I guess he must really like fresh-baked cookies. Mom walks over and puts the platter on the coffee table. Shiro snaps himself out of his gaze.
Yeah, that would be great, Mrs. Harrington.
Oh, just Miss Harrington is fine, and you can call me Amber.
Sounds good to me, then,
he says excitedly.
Thank you so much, Amber.
Oh, it's no problem.
She says as she puts the platter on the table in front of us.
I'll be upstairs if you boys need anything.
I look back at Shiro, who hasn't broken eye contact with my mom since she arrived and is now staring at the stairs. Shiro, you good? Shiro snaps out of his trance and begins adjusting his glasses as if to confirm what he saw with his own 2 eyes was indeed real.
Dude, I'm going to be honest. Your mom is hot.
I am left bewildered by Shiro's comment. That's honestly a first. I'm honestly not really sure what to say here. Thanks?
Like, dude, there's a lot of pretty girls in our grade, but your mom is on a whole other level. Too bad I don't know any girls your age that look like her. Just, wow.
Well, I don't think she's looking for anyone right now.
Wait, where's your dad?
This is exactly what I was hoping to avoid. Well, I guess I'd have to spit it out sooner or later. Well, my parents split up recently. My dad is back at my old house, and my mom and I moved away. It's been hard on both of us.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
Shiro says, looking down at the floor, looking guilty. It's fine. I mean, I didn't tell you, so it's not like you knew beforehand. Shiro sighs.
Yeah, I guess. But hey, your mom looks great. Like I said, I wished more girls at our school cleaned up better after themselves.
Not exactly helping, Shiro. I do my best to be polite. Well, I'm sure she'd appreciate that. Shiro looks up from the floor and returns a friendly smile. I'm really just returning a reassuring look.
Anyways, I didn't come over to reminisce about the past with you, but to celebrate the future.
Shiro opens his backpack and takes out 2 gold DSs.
I found these bad boys in my room. We can play some Pokechew.
Well, you have a gold DS?
Yes, sir. I've had them lingering around in my closet for a few years. Surprisingly, they were still intact. I was hoping we could boot up an old save and keep going with whatever characters it has saved on there. Or we could just start brand new. I'm fine with either.
I take a moment to consider the options. Each has their own pluses and minuses. Let's start fresh. Why not?
Good thinking.
We game away for the next few hours, eating Mom's cookies as we level up our characters. Eventually, we reach a good stopping point and Shiro announces that he has to leave.
Well, Michael, it's been fun, but I gotta start heading back. Dinner is going to be ready for me soon.
I get you. Well, hey, I'll see you tomorrow, man.
Alrighty, see you then.
Shiro packs up his things and I walk him out the front door. He and I wave to each other as he begins the walk back home. I then shut the door and head into the kitchen.
Sounds like you boys had fun.
Mom's sudden presence in the kitchen catches me off guard. Ah, Mom, how long were you standing there?
I just got back down here. No need to be so jumpy.
Right, sorry.
So, how was your play date? Or do you kids call it hanging out at this age?
I let out a sigh. It's hanging out, Mom. And, well, I think it went all right.
Just all right?
Mom eyes me suspiciously. I'm not sure I want to tell her that Shiro was checking her out, but maybe there's a chance she already knows. Yeah, it was just all right.
Well, so long as you two had fun. He seems like a nice boy.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Well, if you ever win him over again, just let me know.
Will do.
Well, I'm going to get started on making some dinner. Go get changed.
Yes, Mom. I'd almost forgotten that I'd been wearing my school uniform the entire time since I got home. I guess time flies. Another episode down. Click it away. Bye, credits. If they're different every time, well, crap. I assume they are not different every time. I start heading up the stairs to my room, thinking about what had happened today. I definitely learned a lot about Shiro. Maybe a little bit more than I intended. I don't know. I really did have fun with him today, but all these rumors still don't sit right with me. And him drooling over my mom certainly doesn't help his case. I don't know. I guess I can talk to Kayla about it tomorrow. Maybe she'll have something to add. I sigh. It sucks that I've got to deal with drama, and we're not even a month into the school year. Hopefully this passes sooner or later. I think to myself as I shut the door to my room. Short little epilogue on that one. Alright, well, let's keep going. Got a little bit longer to record here. This is around what now? Episode 4, is it? Get to the choice. Yes, episode 4. The next day arrives and I'm already at school. Shiro texted me to let me know that he was running late and asked me to wait in the lobby for him. In the meantime, I'm just idling in the lobby, leaning against one of the columns. I passed the time by reflecting on our hangout yesterday afternoon. It was nice to get to spend some time outside of school with him, but on the other hand, he seems to have confirmed some of the rumors about him for me. I'm still a little disturbed that he was checking out my mom, but maybe that was just his way of being nice. I don't know. I get tired of standing and take a seat on one of the couches in the lobby. Though I quickly get the feeling that something's off. It's not that the couch is uncomfortable, but it's an almost familiar kind of feeling. Like I've felt this kind of feeling before. I rack my brain trying to remember when the last time I felt this was. It's that staring guy, isn't it? Wait a second. I look up and stare down the hallway in front of me. Further down the hallway, leaning against the lockers, I see someone directly staring at me. Wait. That's the same guy from yesterday. I abruptly stand up upon realizing this. Hello? I call out to him. I don't get a response. You need something? I take a few steps further. Still no response from him. This is weird. It's almost like he wants something. Maybe he wants me to come to him? I start walking towards him. However, once I walk past the column I was leaning on earlier, he turns around and starts walking towards the stairwell. Within moments, he pushes the doors open and is out of sight. What the hell? I pause for a moment, wondering if I should follow him. Every alarm bell inside my head is going off. Yeah, I'm not following him. At least not by myself. I turn around and head back to the couch, occasionally looking over my shoulder to see if the stranger came back. As I'm walking back, I spot Shiro coming through the front doors.
Hey, Michael.
I try to brush off my anxiety. Hey, Shiro. I force a smile at him.
Are you ready for another exciting day of learning?
He says sarcastically. As always, I stoically reply. Shiro and I begin our morning walk together through the school, thankfully going the opposite direction where that stranger went. The rest of the day goes on without much excitement. I'm just barely paying attention through all my morning classes, and now I'm finally at my last class before we break for lunch. I'm not paying too much attention to what the teacher's saying, so I've just spent my time pretending to take notes on whatever it is we're talking about. I still can't get my mind off that stranger who's been staring at me for the last 2 mornings. He's probably some weirdo, but I get the feeling he wants to talk to me. I don't know exactly what, but I feel like it's nothing pleasant. I eventually give up on doodling and lay back in my chair, fighting the urge not to fall asleep. In order to try to keep myself awake, I just look around the room using my peripheral vision. As I'm looking, I spot someone familiar looking out of the corner of my eye. When my teacher turns her back, I take a brief glance at the back of the room. My heart drops at least 50 feet inside my chest as my eyes widen once I realize who I'm looking at. It's him! He catches me looking back at him, and gives me a stare that immediately freezes my blood. I immediately snap my neck back around to the front of the room. Oh crap. I don't know what's worse, the fact that he's in my class or that he knows I saw him. Now I'm actually dreading dismissal. I gulp nervously. Well, maybe I can confront him. After spending the next few minutes internally dreading dismissal, it finally comes and my teacher allows us to leave. I slowly get up from my seat and in the corner of my eye I see him do the same. I sigh to myself. I guess we're really doing this. I take my usual route out of the room, occasionally looking over my shoulders to make sure he's following me. Though once we get out into the hallway, it doesn't take me too long to lose him. Either he's actively trying to hide from me, or we just got lost from each other in the ensuing mass of people heading to their next destination. I breathe a sigh of relief as I walk to my locker to drop off my things. For once, I'm glad I blended into the crowd. I retrieve my lunch money from my locker and proudly slam my locker shut. Though as soon as I do, I look to my right to see the guy I just thought I lost leaning against the locker next to me. Crap! I slowly turn to face him.
Come on, you didn't think you were gonna lose me that easily, did you?
He says in a raspy voice that almost sounds like a nail scratching on a chalkboard. Who said I was trying to lose you? Maybe I wanted to get you to follow me here.
Good, we're on the same page. So come with me.
He jerks his head down the hall to the rear hallway. Reluctantly, I decide to comply with his request.